Cruella de Vil has been sitting in Disney's basement for 5 years, and somebody just switched the lights back on. Here's the line that started this whole video. A reporter from the playlist sat down with director Craig Gillespie and asked him point blank, "Are we ever getting Cruella 2?" His answer was short. "It's possible. That's going to be something else that's on the agenda." That's it. That's the whole quote. And normally, a non-answer like that wouldn't be worth a single headline, let alone a video. But context is everything here, and once you understand the 5-year backstory behind that one sentence, you'll see why film sites lit up the second it was published. So let's actually dig into this properly, because most of the coverage online is recycling the same 3 paragraphs. I want to show you the full timeline, what's actually blocking this movie, and why the studio might finally have a reason to stop stalling. Let's start with why Cruella mattered in the first place, because if you only remember it as the live-action Disney remake, you're underselling it. In 2021, Disney was deep into its era of live-action remakes. Aladdin, The Lion King, Mulan, shot-for-shot or beat-for-beat retreads of animated classics, mostly built to cash in on nostalgia. Cruella broke that pattern. Instead of remaking 101 Dalmatians, it went sideways and built an origin story for the villain, set decades before the dogs even show up. Emma Stone plays Estella, a scrappy, punk-leaning fashion designer in 1970s London who slowly transforms into Cruella as she wages a very stylish war against a rival designer played by Emma Thompson. It's less kids' movie and more fashion thriller with a body count of hats. And critics noticed the difference. Audience scores landed around 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is an enormous number for a franchise-adjacent Disney release. It also made money at a time when almost nothing was making money. This movie opened in May 2021, right as theaters were still climbing out of the pandemic, and it still pulled in roughly $233 million worldwide against a $100 million budget. On top of that, it also ran simultaneously on Disney Plus through Premier Access. Disney was so confident in the numbers that they confirmed a sequel was in development before the film had even finished its second weekend in theaters. That's how fast this got greenlit. So if the sequel got approved in 2021, why are we still talking about, is it possible in the middle of 2026? That's the real story here. And the timeline is honestly a little wild once you lay it out. 2021. Sequel confirmed almost immediately after release. 2024. At the Palm Springs International Film Awards, Emma Stone tells Variety that filming could begin, quote, hopefully sooner rather than later. She also admits she hadn't fully read a script yet, just called it a work in progress. Early 2026. Reports start circulating from industry outlets like the Dis Insider, claiming that everyone involved, the studio, the creative team, Stone herself, genuinely wants this movie made. One report specifically states that it's, quote, all about getting the script and scheduling right, and predicts we'll see it in the next couple of years. And now, mid-2026, Gillespie, the original director, goes on record again with basically the same message. It's possible. It's on the agenda. Nothing confirmed. 5 years of soon. That's not a scandal. That's just how modern franchise development actually works, but it's worth understanding why. The honest answer is scheduling, and honestly, look at what these two people have been doing instead. Emma Stone hasn't exactly been sitting around waiting for a Cruella script to land on her desk. She's in the middle of one of the best stretches of her career. She's won 2 Best Actress Oscars in the last decade, for La La Land and for Poor Things, and this year she picked up her 5th acting nomination overall for her performance in Bugonia. That's her 4th collaboration with director Yorgos Lanthimos, and by most accounts, that creative partnership is the thing actually driving her schedule right now, not a Disney villain prequel. On top of that, she's also attached to Dave McCary's The Catch, and somewhat randomly, an untitled Miss Piggy movie. Her calendar is packed with projects that aren't Cruella. Craig Gillespie isn't exactly free either. He just directed Supergirl, the second entry in James Gunn's rebooted DC universe, and he got other projects lined up beyond that. So you've got 2 of the key creative forces behind Cruella, both riding genuine career momentum in completely different directions. A sequel isn't dead. It's just waiting for 2 extremely busy calendars to line up, plus an actual finished script that everyone's happy with. Now here's a detail that I think deserves more attention than it's gotten, because it tells you something about how rumors spiral once a franchise goes quiet for too long. At some point, unverified chatter started spreading online that Taylor Swift was being considered for a villain role in the sequel. There's no credible sourcing behind that claim anywhere, no studio statement, nothing for her team, nothing from Disney. It's the kind of rumor that appears specifically because a project has been in development for so long that the internet starts filling in the blanks on its own. Worth knowing about, but not worth believing. So where does that leave us? My honest read, based on everything reported across the last few years, is that Cruella 2 is real. It's wanted by everyone attached, and it's genuinely stuck behind scheduling logistics rather than any creative disagreement or studio cold feet. That actually puts it in a healthier position than a lot of in-development sequels you hear about, because usually when something stalls for this long, it's because somebody upstairs quietly lost interest. That doesn't appear to be the case here. Disney has never walked back its enthusiasm. Stone has never said she's done with the role, and Gillespie just reaffirmed it's still on the table in an interview this year. There's also a bigger pattern worth noticing here if you zoom out. Disney's live-action division has mostly leaned on shot-for-shot nostalgia, and audiences have been increasingly cold on that formula. Cruella worked specifically because it didn't do that. It took a known character and built something genuinely new around her, with a real directorial voice and a lead actress who was clearly having fun rather than just hitting marks. If Disney is serious about expanding this corner of its live-action slate, a Cruella sequel might actually be one of their smartest bets, precisely because it's not a retread of an animated movie people already know beat for beat. So here's where things stand as of this year. No script has been publicly confirmed as finished. No release date exists. No official cast list beyond Stone attached. But the two people who'd actually have to make this movie happen have both, independently, in the same calendar year, said the door is still open. That's more concrete than nothing, even if it's less than fans want. If I had to bet, I'd say we're looking at an official announcement within the next 1 to 2 years, once both Stone's and Gillespie's schedules actually free up enough to commit. Until then, Cruella is just going to keep sitting in that it's possible zone, which, if we're honest, is exactly where most Disney sequels live for years before they suddenly aren't rumors anymore. If you want to track this one properly, subscribe, because the second an actual script or release date drops, I'll break it down here before most outlets even finish their headline. And if you got a theory on what this sequel should actually be about, drop in the comments. I read all of them. I'll see you in the next one.